I really like this Kriya too, because it really works with the spine so completely. And the spine is the central core of our body, and it's what carries the electrical current. It's what carries the precious spinal cord to the brain, so the brain can communicate with the rest of the body. So I think it's a very balanced Kriya sequence. I also like that it works with so much breath of fire. This breath of fire really grounds us, works the core, invigorates with new breath. So let's sit up tall. I still have some construction in my building, so if you're hearing a jackhammer in the background, it's not your computer, it's me. So it is 9:11 for Suzanne to make her edit. This is the Kriya for awakening to your 10 bodies. We're really working with the spine today. We're working with breath of fire. Getting a lot of stretches in the life nerve stretch. And then we end with the frogs, everybody's favorite, and the Laya mantra, which is a very centering mantra. So sit up tall. I like to imagine that string is pulling the top of my head up to the ceiling. Helps me lift my heart when I do so, and it brings the back of my head over my lumbar spine. Try to be conscious of those built-in curves in your spine today. If the spine was perfectly straight, like just one column, it wouldn't be as strong as it is with the kyphosis and the lordosis that brings in the lordosis in the lower spine, lumbar spine, then kyphosis in the thoracic spine. Then there's more lordosis where it concaves in at the cervical spine. So during your practice, we try to make use of those curves. We don't ever want to straighten them out. We want to feel them, because it's what makes our spine even stronger. I'll mute everyone. We'll be ready to do the Adi mantra now. Our Ong Namo, Gurudev Namo. Let's bring the hand to prayer position, Adi mantra. I'm honoring that creative wisdom inside of me. I'm honoring it inside of all of you. We're affirming that for each one in the virtual space. And we're affirming it for the greater world. 3 big inhale, exhales through the nose. Adi mantra. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. This next 70 minutes, we're connecting with our breath. We're unifying body, mind, spirit. We're connecting to our intuition. We're establishing mental clarity and physical body awareness. This Kriya begins on our backs, so let's go right into our backs. I don't think we need a warm-up today. We'll just let the Kriya warm us up. So you're going to lie all the way back. So your hands are at your side, palms up. Head is on the back of the mat. Let's practice our breath of fire, since this is a perfect place to practice breath of fire or any breathing technique. Place the left hand on the abdomen, the right hand on the heart. You'll notice as you take a big inhale through your nose that the diaphragm drops and the belly lifts. Exhale, the belly draws back towards the spine. This is the correct way to breathe. We don't always breathe this way when we become sitting or standing. So just remember, this is the proper use of your diaphragm, where you can fully inflate all the lobes of your lungs. So now let's practice the breath of fire. The breath of fire is a forced exhale through the nose. The inhale comes automatically. So just try it. As you force that exhale, you draw the belly towards the spine. Uddiyana Bandha connects. Then the inhale just comes automatically. So now for 60 seconds, practice your breath of fire. Begin. The two breaths keep going, should be balanced. The inhale will be about the same force as the exhale. I make mine louder to try to give you some sense of breath of fire, but it doesn't have to be loud. In class, sometimes you hear a real loud breather and breath of fire, and the person beside you, you may hardly hear anything. You're really working your solar plexus, and that is 1 minute. Now draw your knees towards your forehead towards your knees. Interlace the knees inside the creases of the elbow. I draw my head towards my knees, and I begin breath of fire for 1 minute here. It'll feel different doing breath of fire here because the diaphragm is compressed. It may be a little bit harder. I'm observing you now. If it starts to feel claustrophobic or strange in any way, then just go back to your long, deep breathing and then return to the breath of fire. It's harder to do breath of fire in this compressed position because the lungs don't want to fully inflate. They can't, because you've shortened the whole core of the body. So they're only getting a little bit of air, 5 more seconds. And you can release, come up to a seated position. We're in easy pose. Or you could come into a half lotus if that feels more comfortable, where you bring this foot up onto the thigh, but you can't force half lotus. It only comes when all the fascia has released. So we go into one of Kundalini Yoga's most notorious poses, breath of fire. So breath of fire is a continued, it's not called breath of fire, it's called ego eradicator, but we're doing breath of fire. So the fingers are into the pads of the hands, the thumbs out like I'm hitchhiking. We're going to do this 3 minutes with breath of fire. So I'm holding my arms, my elbows are straight. Let's begin. I can see your belly coming in and out, Susie, Melanie, Pablo. I can see Margaret. I can't see Susan, Roberta. I can see Rodney. Mimi, I can see now. You really want that belly moving. It's almost like a bellows. One minute, 2 more minutes to go. This helps calm you, helps center you. It's called ego eradicator because the ego mind will begin to talk. Might tell you it doesn't like the pose, it wants to lower the arms. Why are we doing this? But you're stronger than your ego mind. We're more than halfway there. Keep the arms straight. You're doing a great job. Keep the elbows straight if you can. Last minute. You're breathing out all the old stale air from the night before. You're oxygenating your blood. You're bringing in lots of new prana, new life force to fill and spread throughout your body. Last 10 seconds, give it your strongest pumps. And take the thumbs, let them touch overhead. It's called the arc line. It's over the top, the crown of the head. The arc line is that same line that was painted in 14th, 15th century religious paintings, the halo around all the spiritual figures. You're stretching your spine up. I'm trying to keep stretching my arms up. And then slowly release the arms, bring them into Gyam Mudra. Thumb, index finger touch, just sit and observe. Do you feel different after 5 minutes of breath of fire, Kapalabhati breathing in Sanskrit? Now we go right into the life nerve stretch. So right away, we take the legs as wide as we can. You can sit on the leading edge of a blanket if that feels better on your pelvis. So first, just sit, flex the feet, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, the feet are out. I realized last night when I was going to sleep, we're always in plantar flexion because the sheets and the blankets are pulling down on the tops of our feet. So in bed, we're pretty much in plantar flexion. Dorsiflexion, the two joints come closer together. I'm drawing the feet back towards the midline. We stay in dorsiflexion for this pose. So by doing, you can reach down, you can feel your abductors right here coming from the knee to the groin, the inside of the thigh. When you flex the feet, maybe go back and forth, you might activate the adductor more. You feel the abductors coming up the side too, ABDUCTOR, the ones inside ADDUCTOR. Try to sit up tall. Maybe you can grab your feet now, your toes. If you can't, you'll just grab your knee, any part of your shin, maybe your ankle. But I'm trying to keep my spine relatively straight and tall. Breathe deeply into this, because the fascia, that skin-like substance that wraps around all the tendons and ligaments and muscles, it can release. It has a little flexibility in it. As it releases, the legs may come all the way to the floor. If it hasn't released, your knees may be up. That's normal. You can't force it. It just happens with time. You're all very regular yoga practitioners, so almost all of you have your legs flat on the mat. But again, you can't force it. We don't ever want to force a yoga pose. It's your body. Everybody is built a little differently. The cues that are called out are for a general focus, a general purpose, but maybe your body isn't built in the way the cue is given. And so you are the final decision maker on whether you can go into what's being called for. Okay, now let's take the arms up. I'm reaching up. My palms are about shoulder width apart. I'm breathing up. Inhale, exhale. I turn the torso towards that left knee and I come down, trying to grab maybe the toe, maybe the shin, maybe the ankle. Inhale back up, exhale to the other side. That's the pose. You do this pose for 3 minutes. Keep going. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Big, strong breaths, all the breaths through the nose. You'll feel this pose in different places. I feel it. Of course, I'm sitting on my pelvis, so I feel it in my sit bones. I feel it in my lower lumbar spine, right above the sacrum. You can feel it in the thoracic spine behind the heart and lungs when you're reaching forward. Maybe on that forward stretch, you feel it in the cervical spine too. Also, the lower lumbar spine, it can flex, meaning it can go back and forth, and it can go to the side. But the lumbar spine doesn't like to twist. It's not built to twist. This is probably about the most. It's about, I think it has a 5-degree ability to twist in that lower lumbar, small of the back. So the more you understand what the spine is built to do, you'll try not to put it in a compromising position. One more minute. You're doing great. Stay focused, stay mindful. Stay connected to your breath. I can see that you're all stretching really fully. The fascia is releasing. Pablo and Maria are in rhythm with each other. It's quite beautiful. You can use your core here. That Uddiyana Bandha, it automatically sucks in as you're bending forward. Just 20 more seconds. And the deep breathing will help calm you. Inhale, come up. Look up if that's okay on your neck. Try to stretch the arms farther and farther to the ceiling, and you can feel the spine telescoping, stretching up as well. And then just bring the hands forward onto the mat. So my legs are spread wide. Maybe I can get a little more spread now for this life nerve stretch. Maybe after 3 minutes of the other stretching, these legs will come a little bit farther apart. So I'm trying to reach forward with my hands here. Now I'm going to grab my legs, ankles, toes. The position is inhale up, exhale. I try to bring my forehead closer to the mat. You can't push anything, just maybe you only come forward an inch. I don't have a lot of flexibility here. I used to barely not move at all, but now I think I've got maybe 3 inches, 4 inches at most. You're looking great. Everybody's got it. Being careful, being cautious. Everybody has nice, long, flat backs, which means you're being conscious of your spine. Sometimes we just try to round the spine like a scaredy cat in cat pose and come down, but it's healthier to try to keep the spine elongated coming forward. We'll just do this one for 2 minutes, about another minute. Can you feel it in your hamstrings? The muscles behind that run behind the thigh. Maybe you feel it in your quads, the big 4 muscles that come down the top, the front, the anterior part of the thigh, the femur bone. You feel your sits bones, the 2 bones, bottom of the pelvis. Now let's come back up. Just sit here tall. Feel your sits bone, the 2 sit bones, the whole pelvic floor, the ischium, the ilia. There's these, it's almost like 2 bowls in the pelvis. It knits together at the pubic bone in infancy. We can't walk or stand really till that pubic bone knits. Then you feel your pelvis here. Then right at the bottom of the pelvis, top of the pelvis is the sacrum. It has about 5 fused vertebrae in there. The base of it is the coccyx. You'll hear me refer to that in Mula Bandha, squeeze at the coccyx and the anus. So it's right there at the bottom of the pelvic floor. Then you feel that lordosis where the spine is concave coming in towards the midline of the body. That's your L54321, the lower lumbar spine. Then moving up, the spine is kyphosis. It's coming back out, giving you extra strength and support. 12 vertebrae in the thoracic spine behind the heart and lungs. And then draw the back of the head over the lumbar spine. You really feel the 7 vertebrae in the cervical spine at the neck. Hmm. 24, beautiful, of that main part of the spine, lumbar, thoracic, cervical, 24 vertebrae. Kundalini pays so much attention, Kundalini Yoga pays so much attention to the spine, to make it healthy, to stretch it. So the electrical current, the energy is moving freely up and down your spine. Okay, let's come into a seated position for easy pose. And we're going to do these wonderful spinal flexes. So you're really conscious of your spine over the mindfulness exercise we just did. So I grab I guess we can really grab here. My arms are kind of long, so I have to grab deep. But if your arms are shorter, then it's a perfect place to grab. But we try to feel the cat-cow here. So the cat, I'm bringing the belly forward. My chin is drawing up. That's my cow. I'm sorry. The cat, you're coming back, just like cat-cow, the scaredy cat at Halloween. Inhale forward, exhale back. We'll do this for 3 minutes, maybe 2.5. Wonderful place to feel the lumbar spine and to feel that curve that we want to accentuate. I used to think in yoga I was supposed to try to stretch it out. I didn't realize that I was really supposed to be working with that curve, being conscious of it, and maintaining that healthy lordosis. Breathe deeply through the nose. As you know, all our breath work is through the nose. On the cat, try to have the chin touching the forehead. On the cow, when the belly comes forward, try to lift the chin up as much as you can. This exercise is all about the lumbar and thoracic spine. Now come back to center. Move forward onto your knees for thunderbolt pose, Vajrasana. I put the blanket on top of my heels. It's a little more comfortable. My sit bones come down onto the blanket rather than just sit bone to calcaneus heel bone. And we continue with the cat-cow. This time I'm holding my knees. I can feel more of the activity in the thoracic spine when I'm in this position, right? Can you feel doing the same exercise, how now it's moved up into the thoracic? Maybe even a little more of the cervical spine feels like it gets involved. I'm breathing deeply. The juice is in the breath. You can keep your eyes closed. You create more body awareness that way. You're doing yoga from the inside out. Inhale as you come forward. Exhale as you're going into the cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale, come forward. With the belly, my chin is forward. Let's take a big inhale and suspend the breath unless you're on moon or menstrual cycle. Big inhale. Hold the breath, squeeze the bandha, squeeze that mula bandha right at coccyx, anus, pull the navel towards the spine. That's an interesting position to do Uddiyana Bandha, where you pull the navel towards the spine. It almost feels isolated, hanging there, and release. Stay in this pose unless you're uncomfortable. You can move to easy pose. My fingers come up, 8 fingers hanging right here by my clavicles. My thumbs are hanging on the back side of my shoulder. My elbows stay perpendicular to the floor. So inhale, I'm turning left. Exhale, I'm turning right. Wonderful exercise to feel that the lumbar spine doesn't like to twist. This is about the maximum amount that the lumbar spine likes to twist. The lumbar can flex, it does flexion and extension, meaning you can bend over and touch your toes. You can stand and in a cobra pose standing and take your hands to the back wall. So that's extension. The lumbar spine will bend from side to side, but it doesn't like to twist. So this is whatever you're doing, this is the maximum for your body. We're inhaling left. We're exhaling right. Try to remember what it feels like in your lumbar spine. That this amount of twisting for the lower lumbar, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5 vertebrae there. This is about the maximum it wants to twist. Come back to center. Now I just draw the backs of my wrists up and they touch behind my neck. This exercise is pretty easy. My inhale, the elbows come up. The exhale, they come perpendicular to the floor. Inhale up, exhale down. Long, deep breaths. When the wrists touch, you're really telescoping the spine, right? Can you feel your spine lengthening? Unusual posture. I don't know that I've ever done this except Kundalini Yoga. I'm also pumping my lymph, all those lymph glands in the armpit. They have to be pumped to move in the endocrine system, build immunity. All this low-level stress of the election. The adrenals, the immune system gets a workout. So we're helping it. You're opening your shoulders, providing more flexibility there. few more seconds. Then we go into these wonderful arm pumps. And bring the arms out to the T. I like to do this at least once each practice. Palms to the ceiling. Feel your wingspan. Your wingspan is the same as your height. It's a wonderful place to feel your energy field around your body, because you can tell there's some kind of subtle energy around these arms suspended in space. And that sagittal plane about the middle is about the core of the body. We find our balance in our core. Another wonderful way to feel the 4 sections of your body, where your balance is, where the core is. Now take the arms down, hands down onto the knees. Just close the eyes and observe. Everything's relaxed. Face relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Okay. The arm pumps. Interlace the fingers, Venus Mudra. This one of the few times you can open your mouth when you're exhaling if you'd like. Sometimes you can try it both ways, but my inhale is up, my exhale is down. It's really forceful. We'll do this 3 minutes. It's a great way to release aggression. Inhale up, exhale down. Pumping the endocrine fluid, pumping the lymph. Inhale up, exhale down. If you get off, just get back on. Try to keep the elbows straight if you can. One minute, 2 minutes to go. Stay with it. You're breathing deeply. It's tiring. This is good for you, especially when you're feeling stress. It's really good to push the body. You'll feel better afterwards. So just push it for this last minute. Last 45 seconds, you can do it. We get a nice rest with these shoulder shrugs after this. Good work, everyone. We're moving into the last 30 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down. Take the hands down onto the knees. Palms down. You have a closed system. Close the eyes. Breathe deeply. Observe thoughts, emotion, your humanness. Just observe what it means to be human. Now we move back to an easy pose if you're not there already. Giving our legs a little break. We're moving into upper chakra work now. So we're going to be focusing on 4th chakra at the heart, 5th chakra throat, 6th chakra between the eyes, 7th chakra crown, 8th chakra around the body. You can let your hands just rest on your knees. The alternate shoulder shrugs are fairly easy. It doesn't have to come up super high. It's just a gentle lift. Inhale, exhale. And you can modify your pose. I just saw Melanie sitting with her legs out in front of you, or one leg out, one leg into the groin. That's called Janu Sirsasana. However you're comfortable. So if you want to extend legs, the pelvis and the legs are relaxed. The activity is just in the shoulders, called dissociation, when we move one part of the body and the rest of the body is calm. So try to relax everything except the movement of the shoulders. And they're really relaxed too. Come back to center. Now you reverse the direction. You're going to inhale right, exhale left. Or if you started out that way, then do the opposite. Inhale left, exhale right. Sukham, relaxed in the legs, the pelvis. Pelvic floor fully relaxed. And come down. Now, very gently for 1 minute, we just lift both shoulders. I don't want it up all the way high like this. That isn't necessarily good for us. It's just a gentle lift up and down. Inhale up, exhale down through the nose. Great release of emotional energy. When you feel the shoulders drop, imagine that any negative emotions are dropping and leaving your body. Anxiety, fear, frustration, helplessness. Any negative emotion, it just leaves. Sometimes I like to open my mouth on the exhale on this. Feels more dramatic. Inhale up. With a slight lift, squeeze the bandhas. So let's suspend the breath unless you're on moon cycle. Pull the navel towards the spine, Uddiyana Bandha. You get a light squeeze at the root chakra. Lifting the shoulders kind of helps squeeze everything. It's just contraction, not a heavy tightness. And release. When I first did bandha work, I was squeezing my bandhas like I was squeezing for my life, and that's not necessary. Now we go into the wonderful neck turns, the cervical spine, inhaling left, exhaling right. Head is steady, shoulders are relaxed and down. See how much more turning radius there is in the cervical spine versus the lumbar spine. Remember how it didn't want to move more than, say, 5 degrees. But you have all this rotation in the cervical spine. The next minute, concentrate on your third eye, sixth chakra, intuition. Draw your attention there. You could even draw your eyes, try to look between the eyes at the third eye. Inhaling left, exhaling right. Everything is still. Come back to center. Now reverse the breath direction. You're going to inhale right and exhale left. Try not to push the cervical spine. Just let the turn go to the degree that your neck wants to turn. You might hear a snap, crackle, pop. That's normal. Come back to center now. Come forward onto all fours. I like to pound my legs onto my mat, kind of wake them up, maybe curl the toes under, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, maybe even do some ankle rounds. Lift the feet and ankles off the mat and just get that sense of the ankle and how it supports you and grounds you, gives you flexibility. Then come back, curl the toes under, then try to sit back on, so you're coming up on your toes and my heels are touching. See, I'll try to get a little bit closer. See, my heels are touching. This is frog pose. This is the bottom of frog. This is my inhale, and I'm looking straight ahead, if you could see my face. My exhale, I keep the hands on the mat. I try to keep the heels raised, and I look between my legs. Inhale, facing forward. Exhale between the legs. Let's try to do these 26 times. That should be about a minute and a half. Do as many as you can. And if this is too much stress on your knee, then you can always move to a kind of a modified pose like this. You're kind of going up and down, but there's a lot of hyperflexion on the knee here. So if it hurts, by all means, stop. It's a very aggressive pose. Nearly every part of the body is involved. Stay with it. I'm watching you. I've lost count, so somebody who maybe has a sense of 26 of these, just come down to your mat. We're nearing a minute, so I think you're getting close. And when you're done, come into another easy pose. I'm going to share my screen. So Margaret's still going. She's going for it today. Good for you. Okay, we're moving in our meditation before Shavasana is Ekonkar Satanam Siriwahe. The last one is Guru, but that cuts off. Here's the translation. One creator, creation, Satanam, truth, name, identity. That's the takeoff of the Satnam we say so often in Kundalini Yoga. My truth is my identity. Siriwahe Guru, from darkness to light. That's what Guru means. So I think of it in my own life, my higher self and best side, and then there's my shadow side where maybe I don't make the best decision or I do something out of fear rather than coming from a place of equanimity. So in this pose, we're just sitting with our hands down on our knees. The energy is contained. And first we'll do a chant of this pose, and then we're going to do the same chant with a lullaby with music. With that one, you can sing along, or you can let the chant just wash over you, and then you'll take that into your Shavasana. What's not on this sheet is I try to do it in one breath or two breaths, but it's ekonkara. There's a UH after that kara. I try to draw the navel in and bring the energy up. The apana vayu, that wind, that breath that lives in this pelvic floor, I'm trying to bring it up. Satanama, again, I'm pulling up. Siriwa, hey Guru. So let's just join me now. I think you've done it before, so you're muted, so that should alleviate any self-consciousness. Just chant out. Ekonkara Satanama Siriwa Hey Guru. 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 Ekankara Satanama Siriwa He 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 Guru. Now I'll play the lullaby. And you can sing along, chant along, or just let it wash over you. Satanam Siriwa He Guru. Ek Onkar 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 Satanam Siriwa He Guru. Onkar Satanam Siriwa He Guru. Ek 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 Onkar Satanam Siriwa He Guru. Just sit in the silence now, letting the chant wash over you, the calmness of the music, the message of oneness. Listening for your own breath. Knowing that in this moment you are enough, you are safe, you are secure, you are loved. Now take this calmness into your Shavasana, 9 minutes this morning. The most important pose of the day. Everything is harmonizing. Self-healing is actualizing. Your autonomic nervous system will even breathe for you. You don't even have to think about your breath. Everything's taken care of. I'll bring you back with the bell. Begin to breathe together. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and big exhale with an audible sigh. Ah. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, big exhale, audible sigh. One last time. Let the parasympathetic nervous system know to relax even more. Begin to make circles with the wrists and the ankles, moving the fingers, moving the toes. Feel those ankle and wrist joints, how they move and give you flexibility. And take the hands over the head, interlace the fingers, point the index fingers, point the toes, plantar flexion. Stretch out the spine. We worked with the lumbar spine. We worked with the thoracic spine. We worked with the cervical spine. Feel it stretching out. All those primary 24 discs and vertebrae. And you could draw the knees towards the forehead towards the knees. We did this in that second asana, the breath of fire here. You could give yourself a little spinal roll, maybe massaging the spine. Up and down, up and down. You're moving right on to you're feeling the thoracic, the cervical, you're feeling the lumbar, then you're coming on to the sacrum, right above the pelvis and the tailbone there. Wonderful massage for the spine.